Pay attention to the woman walking through the parking garage at 6:47 p.m. Her name is Jessica Torres. She's 26 years old, a graphic designer at a marketing firm in downtown Columbus, Ohio. She's carrying a canvas tote bag over her shoulder, laptop, sketch pad, the half-eaten salad she never finished at lunch. She's walking to her car after a long Thursday at the office. Now, pay attention to the man following 20 feet behind her. Within 3 hours, Jessica's phone would be turned off forever. This was not a random encounter. It was a carefully planned abduction. September 14th, 2023, Columbus, Ohio. Jessica Torres had moved to Columbus 18 months earlier, fresh out of design school with a portfolio that had landed her a junior position at Meridian Creative. She lived alone in a small apartment in the short north, rode her bike to work when the weather cooperated, and spent weekends at coffee shops working on freelance projects. Her Instagram feed was curated carefully, not for social clout, but as a living resume. Every post was a piece of design work, a branding concept, a logo iteration. She was building something. That Thursday had been ordinary. Team meeting at 9:00 a.m., client presentation at 2:00 p.m. Desk work until the office started to empty around 6:30 p.m. Jessica had texted her roommate from college, Maya Patel, at 6:22 p.m. Late night, probably grabbing Chipotle on the way home. She never sent another message. 6:47 p.m. Parking garage, 4th level. The parking garage security cameras captured everything in grainy, time-stamped detail. Jessica exits the elevator on the 4th level. She's looking at her phone, earbuds in, scrolling through something on her screen. The garage is poorly lit. Every third fluorescent panel is burned out or flickering. Her silver Honda Civic is parked in space 4C17, near the back corner where monthly pass holders park. She does not notice the man who exits the elevator 15 seconds after her. He is tall, over 6 feet, wearing dark jeans and a black jacket. A baseball cap pulled low. His hands are in his pockets. He maintains his distance, matching her pace exactly. When she slows, he slows. When she reaches her car and stops to dig through her tote bag for keys, he stops too, 30 feet away, partially obscured by a concrete pillar. Jessica unlocks her car. She opens the driver's side door. She tosses her tote bag onto the passenger seat. She never gets inside. The man moves quickly. The camera angle shifts as he crosses the space between them in seconds. There is a brief struggle. Jessica's body jerks backward, away from the open car door. Her phone falls from her hand, clatters onto the concrete. The man's arm wraps around her torso, pulling her toward a dark SUV parked 2 spaces away. At 6:49 p.m., the SUV's reverse lights illuminate. The vehicle backs out of its space, turns, and descends the exit ramp. Jessica's car sits empty, driver's door still open. Her phone lies, face up on the ground, screen glowing with an unfinished text message to Maya. 8:15 p.m., the first call. Maya Patel called Jessica at 7:30 p.m. Voicemail. She called again at 7:45 p.m. Voicemail. By 8:00 p.m., she was worried. Jessica always answered. Always. Maya drove to the Meridian Creative office building. The parking garage was nearly empty by then. She found Jessica's car on the 4th level immediately, driver's door open, interior light fading, tote bag visible on the passenger seat, and there, on the concrete, Jessica's phone. Maya called 911 at 8:17 p.m. Columbus police arrived within 12 minutes. Officers secured the scene, requested the parking garage surveillance footage, and issued a BOLO, be on the lookout, for Jessica Torres. Description: Hispanic female, 5'4", 120 pounds, long dark hair, last seen wearing black pants and a gray sweater. Detective Anya Williams caught the case at 9:00 p.m. She was a 12-year veteran of CPD, specializing in missing persons and violent crimes. She reviewed the surveillance footage 3 times in the parking garage security office. The abduction had taken less than 90 seconds. Friday, September 15th, 2:30 a.m. The forensic team processed Jessica's vehicle and the surrounding area. No blood, no signs of a sustained struggle. They recovered Jessica's phone, unlocked, no passcode, and her tote bag. Inside, laptop, sketch pad, wallet with credit cards and ID, car keys, everything she needed to drive home. Everything except Jessica herself. Detective Williams pulled the phone records immediately. Jessica's phone had stopped transmitting at 7:03 p.m., turned off or destroyed. The last ping placed it moving south on Interstate 71, away from downtown Columbus. The surveillance footage from the parking garage was clear enough to confirm the abduction, but too grainy to capture the license plate on the SUV. Dark-colored, large, possibly a Chevrolet Tahoe or GMC Yukon. The man's face was never visible. The baseball cap and camera angles conspired to keep him in shadow. But the footage revealed something else. The man had been waiting. Detective Williams requested footage from earlier in the day. At 5:15 p.m., the same SUV had entered the parking garage and parked in space 4C15, 2 spaces away from Jessica's Honda. The man had arrived before Jessica left work. He had known where she parked. He had been patient. This was not opportunistic. This was surveillance. Friday, September 15th, 9:00 a.m. Maya Patel sat in the police station conference room, answering Detective Williams' questions. No, Jessica didn't have an ex-boyfriend who was threatening her. No stalkers she'd mentioned. No recent conflicts at work. No one who made her uncomfortable. Jessica was careful. She didn't walk alone at night. She checked her back seat before getting into her car. She shared her location with Maya on her phone. Maya pulled up Jessica's Instagram account on her own phone. The last post was from that morning, a mock-up of a coffee shop logo she'd been working on. Caption, refining the details, almost there. The post had 43 likes. Detective Williams photographed the screen and made note of the account name, @JessicaTorresDesigns. She had no way of knowing that one of those 43 likes would break the case open. Friday, September 15th, 11:00 a.m. The Columbus Police Department issued a public appeal. Jessica Torres, 26, had been abducted from a downtown parking garage. Witnesses or anyone with information were urged to contact the tip line immediately. Local news stations ran the story at noon. Jessica's mother, Carmen Torres, drove up from Cincinnati the moment she heard. She arrived at the police station at 2:01 p.m., demanding answers no one could provide yet. Where was her daughter? Who took her? Why? Detective Williams had worked hundreds of cases. She knew the statistics. The first 24 hours were critical. After that, the likelihood of finding a victim alive dropped precipitously. Jessica had been missing for 19 hours. Friday, September 15th, 4:00 p.m. The digital forensics team made progress. They extracted data from Jessica's phone and laptop, searching for any indication of who might have targeted her. No threatening messages, no suspicious emails. Her social media accounts were public: Instagram, LinkedIn, a rarely used Twitter, but there were no obvious red flags. Then they found the pattern. Jessica's Instagram account had gained a new follower 3 weeks earlier. The account had no posts, no profile picture, no identifying information. The username was generic, @MarcusOhio644. It had been created 2 weeks before following Jessica. The account had liked every single one of Jessica's posts for 3 weeks. No comments, no direct messages, just consistent engagement. 47 likes in 21 days. Detective Williams requested emergency disclosure from Instagram. The account was registered to an email address, marcusj.temp@gmail.com. The Gmail account was a burner, created the same day as the Instagram profile. But the IP address provided one crucial detail. The account had been accessed multiple times from a public library branch in the Hilltop neighborhood of Columbus, Friday, September 15th, 6:30 p.m. Detective Williams and 2 uniformed officers arrived at the Hilltop Library. The branch manager pulled security footage from the past 3 weeks. They fast-forwarded through hours of mundane library activity: students studying, retirees reading newspapers, parents with small children in the picture book section. Then they found him. A tall black man, mid-30s, baseball cap, dark clothing. He appeared in the footage on 7 different days over 3 weeks. always using the same public computer terminal near the back of the building. Sessions lasted 20 to 30 minutes each. He never checked out books. He never spoke to staff. He arrived, used the computer, and left. The branch manager recognized him. "That's Marcus," she said. "Marcus Jefferson. He comes in a few times a week." Detective Williams asked if Marcus Jefferson had a library card on file. He did, with an address. Friday, September 15th, 8:00 p.m. Marcus Jefferson lived in a 2-bedroom rental house on the west side of Columbus. The house was small, beige siding, chain-link fence around an unkempt yard. A dark blue Chevrolet Tahoe sat in the driveway. Detective Williams requested a search warrant. A judge signed it at 8:45 p.m. At 9:00 p.m., Columbus police executed the warrant. They knocked. No answer. They announced themselves. Silence. They breached the door. The house was cluttered, but not chaotic. Fast food containers on the kitchen counter. A couch facing an old television. 2 bedrooms. One appeared to be a home office with a desktop computer and printer. The second bedroom was locked from the outside. A deadbolt had been installed on the exterior of the door. Officers forced the door open. Jessica Torres was inside. Friday, September 15th, 9:07 p.m. Jessica was alive. She was sitting on a bare mattress on the floor, hands bound with zip ties, duct tape over her mouth. She was still wearing the gray sweater and black pants from work. Her eyes went wide when officers entered the room. She couldn't speak. When they removed the tape, she gasped for air, but made no sound. She was shaking uncontrollably. Paramedics arrived within minutes. Jessica was taken to Riverside Methodist Hospital for evaluation and treatment. She had bruising on her wrists and ankles from the restraints, dehydration, shock. But she was alive. Detective Williams stayed at the scene. The locked bedroom had no windows, a single light bulb in a ceiling fixture, the mattress on the floor, a plastic bucket in the corner, makeshift toilet. On the wall, scratched into the paint with something sharp, tally marks. 4 vertical lines, 1 diagonal slash, 5 marks. Jessica had been in that room for 26 hours. The tally marks suggested someone else had been there longer. Friday, September 15th, 10:30 p.m. Marcus Jefferson was arrested at 11:15 p.m. when he returned home. He pulled into the driveway, saw the police vehicles, and attempted to reverse out. Officers blocked his exit and removed him from the Tahoe at gunpoint. He said nothing. Not during the arrest. Not during the transport. Not during booking. At the police station, Detective Williams informed him of his rights. He requested a lawyer immediately. The interrogation stopped, but the search of his house continued. Saturday, September 16th, 1:00 a.m. The forensic team dismantled Marcus Jefferson's life, piece by piece. His desktop computer contained a folder labeled Design. Inside were screenshots of Instagram profiles. 23 women. All young. All aspiring graphic designers, photographers, or artists. All living within a 50-mile radius of Columbus. Jessica Torres was the 18th profile. In the folder, the computer also contained surveillance photos, images of women leaving work, entering apartments, walking through parking lots. The metadata showed they'd been taken over the past 6 months. Some women were photographed dozens of times, others only once or twice. Marcus Jefferson had been hunting. The email account linked to the Instagram profile, marcusjtemp@gmail.com, contained saved drafts, messages that were never sent, but written as if rehearsing conversations, compliments on design work, questions about techniques, offers to collaborate. None of the messages had been sent. Jefferson had been testing approaches, refining his strategy. He had been learning how to make contact without triggering suspicion. Saturday, September 16th, 8:00 a.m. Jessica Torres was interviewed at the hospital by a victim advocate and a specially trained detective. She spoke in a whisper. Her throat was raw from screaming in the locked room where no one could hear her. She described the abduction. The man had grabbed her from behind in the parking garage. She'd fought, but he was too strong. He'd pressed something over her face, a cloth with a chemical smell. and everything went dark. When she woke up, she was in the locked bedroom. He'd kept her there. No food. Minimal water. He would enter the room twice a day, morning and evening, to provide water in a plastic bottle and remove the waste bucket. He never spoke. He wore a mask. He never touched her beyond checking the zip ties on her wrists. Jessica said she'd thought she was going to die. She'd thought about her mother, about Maya, about all the work she'd never finish. She'd scratched the tally marks into the wall because she needed to track time. She needed to believe someone would find her before she lost count. Saturday, September 16th, 11 o'clock a.m. Detective Williams returned to the Hilltop Library. She needed to understand the timeline. How long had Marcus Jefferson been planning this? The library's computer logs showed he'd first accessed the public terminal 4 months earlier, May 2023. He'd created multiple email accounts. He'd browsed Instagram extensively, searching hashtags, #graphic-design, #Columbus artist, #designer life, #freelance designer. He'd been shopping for victims. The browsing history revealed something else. Jefferson had researched zip ties, soundproofing materials, sedatives. He'd looked up police response times in different Columbus neighborhoods. He'd studied case files of other abductions, news articles, Reddit threads, true crime forums. Marcus Jefferson had done his homework. Sunday, September 17th, 9 o'clock a.m. Marcus Jefferson's public defender, a tired-looking woman named Patricia Reeves, met with her client for 3 hours at the county jail. When she emerged, she requested a meeting with the prosecuting attorney. At 2:09 p.m., Reeves sat across from Assistant District Attorney David Chen in the courthouse. She stated her client's position. Marcus Jefferson was willing to provide information in exchange for considerations in sentencing. Chen asked what information. Reeves slid a handwritten note across the table. On it was an address, a warehouse, in the Franklinton Industrial District. Jefferson claimed there were others. Sunday, September 17th, 4 p.m., Columbus Police, FBI, and a SWAT team converged on the warehouse address. The building was abandoned, or appeared to be. Rusted metal siding, broken windows, a faded sign that once advertised industrial supplies. They breached the building from 3 entry points simultaneously. The warehouse was empty, concrete floor, metal shelving units, pigeons roosting in the rafters. Nothing. Then they found the door. At the back of the warehouse, behind a stack of rotted pallets, was a heavy metal door, padlocked from the outside. They cut the lock. Behind the door was a corridor. At the end of the corridor were 2 more doors, each with exterior deadbolts. Officers opened the first door. A woman was inside, early 20s, emaciated, sitting on a mattress. She shielded her eyes from the flashlight beams. She hadn't seen natural light in weeks. The second door held another woman, similar condition. Both were alive. Neither was Jessica Torres. Sunday, September 17th, 6 o'clock p.m. The 2 women were identified as Alicia Morgan, 23, reported missing from Dublin, Ohio on July 19th, 60 days earlier, and Keisha Simmons, 22, reported missing from Westerville on August 3rd, 43 days earlier. Both were aspiring artists. Both had public Instagram profiles showcasing their work. Both had been held in that warehouse, in those locked rooms, for months. Marcus Jefferson had not abducted Jessica Torres on impulse. He had an established system. He had a secondary location. He had been operating, undetected, for at least 2 months. The question investigators now faced was terrifying. How many others had there been? Monday, September 18th, 10:12 a.m. Marcus Jefferson was charged with 4 counts of kidnapping, 4 counts of unlawful restraint, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and 17 counts of stalking. Additional charges would follow pending the ongoing investigation. His home was processed inch by inch. Forensic analysis of his computer revealed deleted files, photos and videos of other women, some dating back over a year. The FBI's Cybercrimes Unit was working to identify the individuals and determine if there were additional victims. Jefferson's background began to emerge. He was 34 years old, originally from Nigeria, had immigrated to the United States at age 16 with his mother and younger sister. He'd worked various warehouse and logistics jobs for the past decade. No prior criminal record, no history of violence. Neighbors described him as quiet, polite, kept to himself. His mother, interviewed by police, was devastated and disbelieving. She insisted her son was a good man. He'd supported the family, financially. He'd helped raise his sister. He attended church. She could not reconcile the man police described with the son she knew. There was no easy explanation for Marcus Jefferson. No obvious trigger. No clear motive beyond what was evident in his computer files. He'd been obsessed with young women who posted their creative work online. He'd studied them, chosen them, taken them. October 3rd, 2023, Franklin County Courthouse. Marcus Jefferson entered a plea of not guilty. His defense team filed motions arguing diminished capacity, claiming Jefferson suffered from untreated mental illness and trauma related to his immigration experience. Psychiatric evaluations were ordered. The prosecution opposed. Ade Chen argued the evidence showed clear premeditation, planning, and awareness of wrongdoing. Jefferson had researched how to avoid detection. He'd maintained a separate location to avoid discovery at his home. He'd operated for months without raising suspicion. The trial was set for March 2024. March 18th, 2024, trial, day 8. Jessica Torres testified. She took the stand wearing a simple black suit, her long hair pulled back. She described the abduction, the captivity, the fear. She spoke clearly, though her hands trembled. The defense cross-examined gently. They did not dispute the facts. Their argument was narrow. Marcus Jefferson's actions, while criminal, were the product of a diseased mind. He required treatment, not punishment. Alicia Morgan and Keisha Simmons testified the following day. Their accounts were consistent with Jessica's. All three women described the same pattern: silent captor, minimal interaction, locked rooms, prolonged isolation. The prosecution presented the digital evidence, the surveillance photos, the stalking behavior, the carefully researched methodology. On March 22nd, closing arguments concluded. Ade Chen was direct in his final statement to the jury. Trauma may explain behavior. It does not justify it. Marcus Jefferson made choices. He chose these women. He planned their abductions. He held them captive. Those choices have consequences. The jury deliberated for 8 hours. March 23rd, 2024. Verdict. Marcus Jefferson was found guilty on all counts. On April 15th, 2024, he was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences without possibility of parole, plus 140 years on additional charges. He showed no emotion when the sentence was read. His mother wept in the gallery. April 2024. Aftermath. Jessica Torres returned to work at Meridian Creative in January 2024. She lasted 3 months before resigning. The parking garage, the office, the routine, all of it carried weight she couldn't bear. She moved back to Cincinnati to live with her mother while she rebuilt. She still designs. Freelance work, on her own terms, from home. Her Instagram account is private now. The portfolio she'd built so carefully sits dormant, but she started a new one. Smaller, quieter, hers alone. Alicia Morgan required extensive medical treatment for malnutrition and psychological trauma. She did not return to her art. She works in a library in Dayton now, far from Columbus. She has not spoken publicly about her captivity. Keisha Simmons moved to Portland, Oregon to live with family. She deleted all her social media accounts. She has not been heard from since. Carmen Torres and Maya Patel worked with state legislators to pass Jessica's Law in Ohio. New requirements for parking garage security standards, including improved lighting, emergency call boxes, and mandatory camera coverage with license plate recognition capabilities. The law passed unanimously in August 2024. The investigation into Marcus Jefferson's activities continues. The FBI has identified 12 additional women who were photographed or stalked by Jefferson, but never abducted. They have been contacted and offered resources. Whether there are other victims remains an open question. November 2025. Jessica Torres is 28 years old now. She lives in Cincinnati. She sees a therapist twice a week. She does not drive alone at night. She checks her car before getting in. She shares her location with her mother at all times. She survived. That is what matters most. The parking garage where she was taken has new cameras now, brighter lights, emergency call boxes on every level. The changes came too late for Jessica, but they are there now, permanent, required by law. On her desk in Cincinnati sits the canvas tote bag she carried that Thursday evening in September 2023. Inside is her sketch pad, the unfinished logo work, the notes in the margins, the plans she'd made for a future she hadn't yet built. Those belong to her. They always have.